how do I get started, or how do I know what to do with these leads, or how to even run a marketing campaign as a CEO and founder, where I have no idea how to place marketing, media buying, and how to manage that. Well, again, if we go back to just the traffic and conversions equation and thinking about that, in our process, what we do is we call this test to KPI. You have benchmark numbers that we need to hit, right? From earlier in the presentation, we had our 0.4, 0.4, and 0.2, right? From lead to sale. Well, in your advertising now, down a level, we look at every channel has different metrics and every channel has different baseline numbers. But for Facebook advertising, so let's call this for Facebook advertising, and a very simple funnel where you're just running an ad to a landing page, which has an opt-in, some reason they opt in, whether it's a webinar or a download or a consult call or some free gift, who cares? But they opt in, this gives you an MQL. Right? And so what we want to do is we want to look at what are the baseline numbers that we can use to say whether this ad is working or not working. And in our world, we find that a Facebook ad should have a click-through rate of at least 1.5%. So if you're currently doing ads and you're looking at your Facebook ad manager, are your ads pulling better than 1.5% or not? And that is based on 1,000 impressions. You'll notice that your pricing on these direct advertising channels is based on 1,000. CPM is what it's called. So we always think in terms of 1,000. So if you can get 1,000 impressions on an ad and it has 1.5 click-through rate or better, winner, 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 chicken dinner. Now we can go look at the conversion side of the equation and look at our landing page. And the landing page should be converting at 20% or better. That's the standard we use. And now we can look and go, okay, is that landing page converting at 20%? And if so, that's going to give us, so out of 1,000 impressions, we have a 1.5% click-through rate. That's 150 clicks with a 20% opt-in rate. So I want to make sure I didn't lose you there. This is 150 clicks you've driven. 1,000 impressions times 1.5% gives you 150 clicks. And then those go to your landing page here, which is at 20%. And 20% of 150 now is 30 MQLs, right? And so if you do this in a month, or you do this in a week, or you do this in a day, 150 clicks. There's where it goes. Sorry. Now you have a manageable system. And all you have to look at now is what's your, and this is where the CPM number becomes important, what's your cost per 1,000 impressions? For most industries, it's around $35. Well, gosh, all of a sudden now, I know I can pay $35 to get 1,000 impressions. And because I built this funnel that has these metrics that are working, I know I get 30 MQLs from that. Now my MQL cost is down around $1. It's even better than I thought. So this is how you as a founder and leader in your business need to think about marketing. You really don't need to know marketing. You don't need to know how to run the ad or write the creative or make the picture or the video or whatever. You don't have to do that. What you have to know is what are your numbers? What are those baseline numbers that you can make the decisions with and drive the process. With this system, once you know your numbers, now we can go hire a media buyer and say, hey, here's the goal. Here's our baseline numbers. You must go beat this. So if you've hired like a social media person or an SEO person, and you're not holding them to standards and benchmark numbers, KPIs, then that is probably why your marketing is not working, or at the very least is disappointing you. So the key to this, the whole system, is you gotta know your numbers. So now let's talk about what numbers do you need to know. We break this down into two groups. You have two different levels of metrics. The first metrics are your company level metrics, and these are things like lifetime value of a customer. This, I think, is the most valuable number you need to know because it comes in LTV is both in dollars and in time. How long does it take you to get that lifetime value? When we started a supplement business, we looked at our lifetime value of a customer was around $300, but it took 9 months to get that $300 in. So we knew we could spend up to $300 to get a customer, but we also knew we had to finance that $300 for 9 months to realize the revenue coming back in. Don't want to lose you on that. It's more numbers, but the idea is LTV has two components. It's dollars and time. Then you also maybe want to look at what are your profit margins. That's really important. You want to maintain those. What's your gross revenue, etc. But the idea of your company metrics, these are company level metrics that you as the CEO in particular, this is what you're held responsible for. Now, your strategy level metrics, these are like we just went through in our Facebook example, every channel that you're investing in, like with Facebook ads, we talked about it, your ad needs to have a 1.5% click-through rate or better. Your landing page needs to have a 20% click-through rate or better, which then leads to marketing quality. That gives you an MQL, and your MQL to SQL, we know what that number is, needs to be 0.4. And then from SQL to sale, that's also a 0.4, right? We established that in the beginning. See how we're working from the end backward now, and now it ties the entire marketing through to sales completely together all the way. So the strategy level metrics, this is going to be different for every strategy. If you're doing SEO, you have a benchmark. If you're doing event marketing, you're going to have a benchmark. If you're doing social media, you're going to have a benchmark. And again, it's all about traffic and conversions. And that's how you're going to determine these numbers for your business. And it's also now how you can, slash the waste and keep what's working, right? So now you have a tool set by which you can look at your current investments, your current spends, and say, hey, look, this is a complete waste of money. Let's stop. This is not making any sense, all right? And you're not guessing. It's not just hoping and praying and wishing. We do the math, we know our numbers, and now we can make decisions. Make sense? So I want to give you an illustration. I talked about this idea of a Facebook ad to an opt-in to a sales call. This is just a piece of software that we use to manage this. And all I wanted to do was show you and illustrate this, how it works and how we treat marketing as a very data-driven and specific activity. It's not guessing at all. So we have our Facebook ads that we lead with. That's it was a 1.5% conversion rate, right? And then this goes to our opt-in page. We already discussed that. Our benchmark is 20%. And in this example, there's two upsells. One's $29 and one's $1. 15% of the people take the first upsell, 20% take the second upsell. It's just marketing stuff. But what I want to illustrate for you is every step of your funnel, of your marketing funnel, has this conversion number in it. Even if it's email. I believe email is the number one marketing strategy you should do. That's a whole nother talk. But your email has, what numbers are important for email are your open rate and your click-through rate. So those are your baseline numbers for each email in your sequence. What is the open rate? What is the click-through rate? Now you have a tool to determine, does this email serve a purpose? And all of those lead to now a triage call, which qualifies your prospect. And again, remember we said that's 40%, which leads to a sales consult, and they close at 40% as well. And blah, 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 all this works together. What happens? Well, let me show you what happens. This software will calculate it for us. And this is where it gets really cool. Let's look at this. This funnel, if we hit these benchmark numbers, and I hope you agree that we're not talking about astronomical numbers here. We're talking about, a couple of thousand impressions that leads to a couple of hundred opt-ins, which leads to a couple, even fewer hundred MQLs, SQLs, sales, etc. You build it out backwards. Now you know what your sort of budgeting should be. But here's your funnel. This funnel that I just illustrated for you here, when you generate and hit the simulate button down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see that, but you hit this button and it does all the math for you. And this is what it looks like. Now all of a sudden we have $95,000 a month in revenue, and that turns into 1.15 in gross annual sales. And now I have just fulfilled my promise to you that I have shown you how to create a $1 million marketing blueprint.